Streams of love. I have been in a relationship with my boyfriend for more than 3 years. In the second year, he took me home to meet his family. Normally, he spends a lot of time with me. When I ask, he says we will get married in 1 more year. Both his job and mine are stable, with good salaries. I don't know whether he truly loves me or not. From the perspective of a relationship expert, Streams of love, I do not view love merely through words or fleeting emotions, but analyze it through the flow of behavior, the level of commitment, and the loving energy a man sustains over time. With this approach, I believe true love always leaves traces, not loud but consistent, not impulsive but deep. Therefore, I will answer you honestly, clearly, and objectively, without indulging anxious emotions and without denying what is truly happening. My goal is not to reassure you for a brief moment, but to help you see the true nature of the relationship, understand the emotional stage the man is in, and, most importantly, understand what you yourself truly need in love. First of all, there is no clear sign that he has lost his feelings of love. From the perspective of a relationship expert, I need to be direct. Based on what you have shared, he does not belong to the group of men who are falling out of love, nor does he show signs of withdrawing from the relationship. First, being in love for more than 3 years is a long enough period for emotions to be filtered. A man who stays after that length of time is no longer acting out of impulse or infatuation, but out of a conscious choice. If he were no longer in love, most men would look for a way out much earlier rather than maintain such a long-term relationship. Second, in the second year, he took you home to meet his family. This is not a casual or symbolic gesture. For men, introducing a partner to family is a form of social commitment. It means he has identified you as a serious person in his life. A man who is no longer in love or who is only loving temporarily will avoid this step because it brings responsibility and expectations. Third, he still spends a lot of time with you. Time is the clearest unit of measurement of love in men. When feelings cool, the first thing they reduce is not words, but presence. The fact that he continues to make time for you shows that the emotional flow has not been broken. Fourth, when you asked him directly, he did not avoid the question, but answered clearly, "We'll get married in 1 year." This is a very important point. Men who have fallen out of love usually do not dare to make promises, set timelines, or talk about marriage. A time-bound answer shows that he is thinking about the future, not just living in the present. Finally, both of you have stable jobs and good incomes. This removes a major barrier that causes many men to delay commitment. When the foundation of life is secure, continuing the relationship and moving toward marriage usually comes from desire, not helplessness or pressure. On the contrary, if a man has truly fallen out of love, he often shows very clear signs, such as avoiding conversations about the future, giving vague answers like, "We'll see," or "I haven't thought about it yet," gradually reducing time and attention, or not wanting to be involved with family or long-term commitments. Your situation does not match any of those signs. This suggests that the issue does not lie in him falling out of love, but more likely in how you are feeling and interpreting love during this stable stage of the relationship. So where does the issue lie? It lies in your emotional flow, not his. From the perspective of streams of love, this is a very common psychological emotional phenomenon in long-term relationships, especially when love enters a stable phase. I often call it an emotional misalignment, not the end of love. In the early stage, love operates on passion. The man is more proactive, more expressive, and more romantic. Everything feels new, emotions run high, and the woman can clearly feel, "I am being loved." At this stage, the emotional flow is strong and easy to perceive. But when the relationship becomes long enough and secure enough, a man begins to shift the way he loves. He no longer loves through impulsive emotions, but through responsibility and planning. For men, this is not a sign of loving less, but a sign of making a long-term choice. Therefore, men still love, but the way they love changes. They say fewer sweet words because they believe staying matters more than sounding good. They show fewer impulsive emotions because they are focused on stability. They express love through long-term actions, maintaining the relationship, thinking about marriage, building a future, and preparing a solid life foundation. Meanwhile, women have a completely different measurement system. Women feel love through emotions, subtle care, and frequent reassurance. When emotional expressions decrease, even if actions remain, a sense of emptiness and doubt can easily arise. Does he still love me? This does not mean you are weak or overthinking. It simply shows that your emotional flow still needs to be nurtured, while he believes the love is already strong enough that it no longer needs to be expressed as much as before. Therefore, the problem is not that he has stopped loving you, but that the two of you are loving each other in different languages. When love languages are not properly understood, doubt appears, even though the love itself is still fully there. Signs that a man has lost the feeling of love. And the important thing is, he does not show these signs. From a relationship expert's perspective, when a man begins to fall out of love, the flow of his behavior changes very clearly. Men are not good at hiding long-term withdrawal. When emotions decline, they naturally reduce their presence, avoid responsibility, and blur the future. If we compare calmly and objectively, your situation does not fall into a risk group. I will break it down clearly so you can see it more easily. Avoiding marriage. He is not avoiding it. On the contrary, he has given a clear timeline for marriage. A man who has lost his feelings will not dare to set a timeline because a timeline equals commitment. Not introducing you to his family. He already did this in the second year. For men, family is a serious boundary. When love fades, they usually remove their partner from this circle rather than dually bring them into it. Being distant, meeting less, reducing connection. This is also not happening. He still makes time for you and maintains consistent presence. Men who fall out of love usually become increasingly busy, not maintain such a stable rhythm of meeting. Being vague about the future. He does not give evasive or vague answers. Clearly saying, "We'll get married in 1 year," shows that he is viewing the relationship with a long-term mindset, not as a temporary emotional state. Prioritizing everything else over you. There are no signs of this. When men lose love, work, friends, and personal interests gradually take over the woman's place. Your situation does not reflect this. All of the above analysis leads to one consistent conclusion. He is still in a stable flow of love. This is a stage of love that is no longer loud, but deep, no longer burning intensely, but strong enough to move toward marriage. What you are feeling is not a sign that he has stopped loving you, but a sense of emptiness that arises when love shifts into a different form of expression. Calmer, more practical, and less dramatic than before. But there is one point you need to pay attention to, and this point is very important. The question you are carrying in your heart is, I don't know whether he loves me or not. From the perspective of a relationship expert, I need to be clear. This question does not arise because he does not love you, but because your own emotional state has not yet been fully fulfilled. In essence, the issue lies in the fact that you have not truly felt that you are fully chosen. Not on a rational level, but on an emotional one. He has plans for marriage, commitment, and consistent actions. Yet there is still an empty space inside you. That emptiness leads you to wonder whether you are truly his number one priority, whether you are loved with his whole heart, or merely the person who is suitable to marry. In addition, you are waiting for emotional certainty, not just a marital roadmap. For women, a sense of security does not come from a promise of marriage, but from being seen, being heard, and having their feelings consistently affirmed. When this affirmation is missing, no matter how clear the future plans are, the heart can still feel uneasy. Therefore, what you truly need is not the question, "Does he love me?" but a deeper and more essential question, "Am I being loved in a way that makes me feel secure, valued, and chosen every day?" When you ask the right question, you will stop doubting your own worth and begin to see the relationship more clearly. Not to blame him, but to understand your own true emotional needs. Only then can the two of you adjust the flow of love and move forward together with greater stability. Advice from Streams of Love, very practical and essential at this stage. When emotions start to feel unsettled, the natural reflex of many women is to seek answers immediately. But from a relationship expert's perspective, how you seek the answer is just as important as the answer itself. If done the wrong way, you may unintentionally push a man into a defensive position, even though he still loves you. What you should not do: don't press him with the question, "Do you still love me?" This question puts him in a position where he has to prove himself, not one where he feels safe to share. Men, when emotionally interrogated, tend to shut down rather than open up. Don't compare him to the past. Comparison only makes him feel like he is never good enough, while in reality, he is loving in a different way, more mature, but less loud. Don't silently overinterpret. Silence does not deepen a relationship. It only allows fear to grow inside you. When you don't speak up, you create scenarios in your mind that end up hurting you. What you should do: choose a gentle, honest, and non-blaming way to speak. Don't demand or accuse. Simply share your feelings. "I truly appreciate your plan for marriage, but sometimes I need to feel loved more through words and small gestures. I'm saying this not to create pressure, but to help us understand each other better." This way of speaking does not hurt his self-esteem, but opens the door for him to understand your emotional needs, something many men do not realize on their own unless it is clearly expressed. And remember this important point: a man who still loves you will show very distinct responses. He will listen and not dismiss your feelings. He will adjust, even if he may be awkward at first. And most importantly, he will want you to feel secure, not leave you in silence to worry on your own. Streams of Love believes that lasting love does not come from guessing each other's emotions, but from having the courage to speak honestly, clearly, and fully, in a way that allows both people to still feel respected and loved. Conclusion from a relationship expert's perspective. Does he love you? Yes. And not just a fleeting emotional kind of love, but a serious, responsible love with a clear direction toward marriage. He has chosen to stay, brought you into his family life, thought about the future, and set a specific timeline. For men, these are not random actions, but signs of a long-term decision. So why do you still feel uneasy? Because the emotional flows of the two of you are out of sync, not because love has run dry. He is loving in the way of a man who has become stable. Fewer words, less impulsive emotion, but more responsibility. You, on the other hand, still need to be nurtured through subtle care, through the feeling of being chosen and emotionally affirmed every day. Your uneasiness does not mean this relationship is wrong. It shows that you are at a stage where emotional reconnection is needed. When the two of you have not yet fully understood each other's new love languages, emotional distance can appear, even though both of you are moving in the same direction. What matters most right now is not doubting his love, but adjusting the way the two of you give and receive love. When your emotional flows return to the same rhythm, you will realize that this love has not disappeared at all. It is simply maturing into a quieter, more stable, and more lasting form. Now, I will help you accurately identify his current emotional stage. From the perspective of a relationship expert following the Streams of Love model, a man's love does not remain static. It clearly shifts through different stages. When you correctly understand which stage he is in, you will stop guessing, stop feeling vague anxiety, and begin to view the relationship with greater clarity and peace of mind. He is no longer in the stage of explosive, passion-driven love, where emotions lead the way and actions are impulsive. Instead, he has entered the stage of stable love, the stage of choice and commitment. In this stage, love is no longer expressed through constant words or intense romance, but through consistent presence, building plans, and keeping the relationship secure. The signs of this stage are: he remains attached, remains present, continues to think about marriage, but expresses emotions less than before. For men, this does not mean loving less, but loving more deeply and realistically. He believes that once he has chosen you as a long-term partner, love no longer needs to be proven every day through words, but through stability and responsibility. The issue arises only when the woman is still in a stage where her emotions need to be nurtured, while the man has already moved into the stage of preserving and building. This difference creates a sense of emptiness, even though both of you are still walking the same path. When you correctly recognize his emotional stage, you will understand that he is not withdrawing, not becoming cold, and not stopping his love. He is simply loving in the way of a man who has defined his future. And your task now is not to doubt, but to learn how to reconnect the emotional flow so that both of you can love each other more fully. How to communicate so he reopens the flow of loving emotions. From the perspective of a relationship expert, streams of love, the most important thing is not speaking more, but speaking at the right time, in the right language, and with the right emotion. Men do not close off emotionally because they stop loving. They usually shut down when they feel pressured, judged, or required to prove their feelings. If you want him to reopen the flow of loving emotions, you need to understand one core principle. Men open their hearts when they feel acknowledged, not when they are interrogated. Choose the right moment when he feels emotionally safe. From a relationship expert's perspective, I always emphasize one thing. Timing determines 50% of the outcome of a conversation. It's not because what you say isn't good enough, but because when he does not feel emotionally safe, even the right words can be misunderstood. Do not start the conversation when he is stressed about work, his mind weighed down by responsibility and pressure. You have just argued, and defensive emotions are still high. You yourself are too emotional, sad, hurt, or just want to get it over with. At these times, men usually do not listen with their hearts, but with defense. In those moments, they are not opening up emotionally. They are simply protecting themselves. Instead, choose the right moment, when the two of you are together naturally, without forcing it. When there is no time pressure, no need to rush to finish. When the atmosphere is calm and safe enough for both of you to speak honestly, without being on guard. The right timing removes his need to be defensive. And when a man is no longer defensive, emotions flow naturally, without force, without interrogation. That is when your words have a chance to touch his heart, rather than stopping at the surface. Start with acknowledgement, not with needs. From a relationship expert's perspective, how you open an important conversation determines whether he opens up or shuts down. Many women make the mistake of starting with their needs. I need, I'm lacking, you no longer. These statements, even when rooted in hurt, unintentionally place men in a position of being judged and demanded from. When men feel that they are not enough, they immediately withdraw. Not because they don't care, but because their ego has been touched. When the ego feels threatened, emotions automatically close their doors. Instead, begin by seeing and acknowledging him, acknowledging his efforts, his seriousness, and his role in the relationship. For example, I know you are always thinking about our future and are very serious about this relationship. I truly appreciate that. This statement is not flattery, but a recognition of reality. When men feel acknowledged, they feel that they are doing the right thing, that they have value, and that they are respected. That feeling creates emotional safety, and this sense of safety is the prerequisite for emotions to open up. When he no longer has to prove himself or defend himself, the flow of love naturally returns. From a foundation of acknowledgement, everything you share afterward is far more likely to be heard. Talk about your feelings without judging him. After starting with acknowledgement, the next extremely important step is how you express your emotions. From a relationship expert's perspective, I always emphasize this. Emotions need to be shared, but they must not be turned into an indictment. Talk about what is happening inside you, rather than labeling or concluding things about him. For example, there are times when I feel a little distant from you, not because you've done anything wrong, but because I need more emotional closeness. This way of speaking has a key point. You take responsibility for your own emotions instead of placing blame. You are not saying, you're cold, you've changed, or you don't love me anymore, but simply sharing your inner state. This helps him avoid feeling attacked. Remember this very clear principle. When you say, I feel, he is more likely to listen and try to understand. When you say, you no longer, he will immediately become defensive, even if he still loves you. Men may be clumsy at expressing emotions, but they are very sensitive to being judged. When you speak with sincerity and without judgment, you create a safe space for him, one where emotions can be shared rather than hidden. State clearly what you need, but gently and specifically. From a relationship expert's perspective, I always remind couples of one very practical thing. Men are not good at guessing emotions. Your silence does not help him understand you better. It usually only makes him think that everything is still fine. Therefore, if you don't speak clearly, he won't know what he needs to adjust. However, being clear does not mean making demands. What matters is that the way you express your needs is gentle, specific, and pressure-free. For example, just occasionally hearing you say that you appreciate me, or receiving a small gesture of care, already makes me feel much more secure. Here, you are not asking him to change who he is, nor are you setting unrealistic standards. You are simply expressing small but clear wishes, enough for him to understand what you need in order to feel loved. It is precisely this smallness and gentleness that become the key. When needs are not exaggerated, men find them easier to receive and respond to. He doesn't feel forced to be better. He simply feels guided on how to love you in the right way. And when he does, the flow of loving emotions is naturally reignited, sustainably and without strain. End with connection, not with conclusions. From a relationship expert's perspective, the way you end an important conversation can sometimes have an even stronger impact than the way you begin it. Many women, after expressing their feelings, unconsciously end with a testing question, such as, "So, do you love me?" This question does not bring reassurance. On the contrary, it makes him feel judged and placed in an emotional test. In that moment, even if he does love you, he will withdraw, because his emotions are being forced to prove themselves. Instead of seeking an immediate conclusion, end with companionship. Show him that you are not confronting him, but walking alongside him. I'm sharing this not to create pressure, but because I want us to understand each other better and walk together for the long term. This statement opens a door rather than closing the conversation. It gives him time to think, time to feel, and time to adjust. Things men greatly need when processing emotions. With a man who still loves you, the response may not be loud or immediate, but it will be very clear over time. He will reflect on what you shared. He will adjust the way he expresses himself, even if he is awkward at first. And most importantly, he will gradually reopen the flow of loving emotions in his own way. Slow, genuine, and lasting. Streams of Love believes that love does not need testing questions, but safe invitations that allow emotions to return. Final message from Streams of Love. A man's emotions are not something to be pulled out, forced out, or constantly tested. The more they are pulled, the more they retreat. A man's emotions truly emerge only when he feels safe, respected, and properly recognized for his efforts. That is why emotions do not need to be interrogated. They need to be invited. When you speak with sincerity, without defensiveness or accusation, when you respect his emotions and his rhythm of loving, and when you use the language of love instead of the language of fear, you create a space warm enough for love to flow on its own. In that space, he does not need to prove that he still loves you. He will naturally express love in a deeper way. Streams of Love believes that lasting love does not come from holding on tightly, but from understanding correctly and connecting properly. And when that happens, love not only does not fade away, but has the chance to flow deeper, settle more calmly, and become more enduring over time.